Hey YouTube, Dawson Rider here with my next Dawson's Top 5, which is Top 5 Worst Power Rangers Premieres. I'm not sure when this is going up. I did the Top 5 Best to go alongside the Ninja Steel premiere the day before or after. I don't remember what I decided, because this is happening, recording before that's even happened. Weebly wobbly, timey-wimey. But this will go up within the same month of those videos. Probably the next week, but I don't know what I'm talking about this. What if I put this up in 2025 just to mess with people? Weebly wobbly, timey wimey indeed. Anyway, so easily distracted. So, top 5 worst finale. Let's go ahead and get started. So, number 5, Power Rangers Samurai Origins / what was it called? The Team Unites. So this is a bit of an oddball choice. Just to speak about Origins for a second, I thought that episode was actually okay. I really don't overly hate it. It was pretty much a lot of a direct translation of Shinkenger, which there was a lot of samurai that was, but it was fine. Like, there wasn't anything where I was like, oh, this is awful, but for a direct translation, it was a solid 2-part premiere. So, the reason it makes this list, for the Origins part, is just because it was pretty generic, pretty average. Like, when I was making this list, both lists, I realized there's not a lot of ones that I outright hate, and like a lot of ones in the middle I didn't choose, like Lost Galaxy or Ninja Storm or Jungle Fury or premieres I all liked. I liked them quite a bit. They just didn't nudge one way or the other to, oh my god, this needs to make it on the top 5 best, or oh my god, burn in hell. So Samurai Origins, if it was just Origins, would just make the list for number 5 for just, I couldn't think of anything else and it was so generic. But I had to call out this unique situation where the premiere of Samurai was actually the 3rd episode, The Team Unites, which was awkward. I don't remember whether it was Nick's decision or Saban's decision or them together as a power couple, but they aired Team Unites first, and it was quite some time before we ever got Origins. So that makes the list just for that terrible decision making. And the fact is that there's a lot of shows, cartoons or kids TV shows or regular TV shows that will jump you in on an episode where the status quo is already set. You're almost more or less jumped in on a regular episode. But usually when series do that, they know they're doing it, and as such, the episode, even though you're sort of being dropped into the world, is also meant to help you get to know the world a little bit and not seem so weird, whereas the series clearly wasn't written that way. So despite the fact that the episode name, Team Unites, was a good name for a premiere episode, it felt awkward, and it felt like they accidentally aired this episode, and the episode was very average in general, like below average even, so it was awkwardly placed. Like I said, if you plan to do it that way, that's fine, lots of people do that, but this was like, it felt out of place, and Samurai already being so rocky in general, and a rocky start for PR coming back, but this did not help set the tone, because it put you on like uneven footing right from the start. So yeah. Alright, number 4 is Ninja Steel's Return of the Prism. Again, I got my cheat sheet over here, because just in case I forget the names. I think I forgot InSpace's name, because I wrote down on my InSpace list for best Countdown to Destruction for whatever reason. I'm like, no, that's finales. So, anyway, Ninja Steel's was an okay premiere. I think I remember even said it was okay in my review, but the thing about it is that it was rushed, and so much of it was a rehash of Dino Charge's plot points, which they did in both parts, but part 2, it wasn't a 2-parter. Like, let's not pretend, because it was 2 episodes were separated. It wasn't a true 2-parter. But episode 2 was good. I liked episode 2 quite a bit, actually. But episode 1 was so rushed, and there was so many beat-for-beat translations of Dino Charge, which is weird, because usually you're calling it out for copying the structure of either the Sentai or previous work. But this was like right after. I mean, granted we had Supercharge in between, but this was like immediately after. So yeah, it was rushed and rehashed. Number 3, maybe a controversial choice for nostalgia people, but Day of the Dumpster. Yes, Day of the Dumpster started it all, and it got a lot of us into it. I know when I was younger, I watched this episode a ton on the VHS tapes, and I still will find some nostalgic enjoyment against my better nature from rewatching it. I usually rewatch it whenever the anniversary comes up, because usually Twitter makes a big deal about it. I'm like, oh, I'll rewatch it, why not? And it's fine, enjoyable for that, but it's a pretty bad episode when you think about it, mainly because it's one of the handful of 1-episode pilots. A lot of the PR ones are 2. We've more recently gone back to one-offs, which I don't like. I think PR needs a 2-parter hour premiere. I think that helps it. Sentai often rushes because they don't know what two-parters are in Japan, apparently, for pilots or no pilots. But anyway, I think it's the worst one-off pilot compared to Lightspeed Rescue, Ninja Storm, even Mega Mission. I think actually paced it better. This is so awkwardly rushed. Like when you go back and revisit it, it sets up the status quo too quickly. And Mega Mission was trying to homage this. And I mainly wanted to bring that up because I think they did a better job of making it feel less rushed. And I felt like we got a chance to know the characters a little bit more. Like, not like amazingly, but I feel like we got a better feel for them than MMPR's did. It's a pretty haphazardly rushed episode, in my opinion. Alright, number 2 is Supercharges. I definitely forgot the name of this episode. When Evil Stirs, Supercharges. Kind of like with, I think it was Finales, I wasn't sure how to structure this. Because even though the super seasons are technically separate seasons, in my head I still just see it as one giant season. So in a lot of ways, like, the super premieres aren't true premieres for me. The exception kind of being Super Megaforce because we're using different suits. But anyway, I wanted to call this one out. Setting aside, I know a lot of people know I hate Supercharged with a passion, and that's in part of it. And it wasn't a very good episode to start with. I mean, it was very, again, rushed and average. It needed a two-parter. But the reason I wanted to call it out is because of all the seasons so far. I'm recording this before Super Steel's premiered. So, of all the seasons leading up to it, Supercharged, their premiere, and the series in general, I think did the worst job of justifying and giving me a reason why this season is called Super. Megaforce obviously had help from the fact that we used outright different suits. Samurai, I think, was helped by the fact that they actually had one of their final arcs in Samurai proper be about finding the black box. So it sort of transitioned into Super Samurai. So it actually did a pretty good job on that, actually, to be honest. But this one, we never really got a concrete reason why now they're called Supercharge other than the season structure and the toy structure. And I thought that was really poorly done, a poorly rushed episode, and it had a lot of cool concepts. And it just didn't pay off as well. This could have been a really solid hour premiere that paid off stuff that they set up and actually gave us concrete reason to be called Supercharge, and it failed at that. Okay, number 1 is Shift into Turbo. The reason I think this is a bad premiere is because it was basically a clip show of the movie. It's just so odd, and in one way, you kind of can't fault them for it because they didn't really have a choice. Well, they did, but it's just weird because, you know, both Power Rangers movies, the old ones, used an origin story that was already going to be happening on the TV show. In the sake of the original Recipe movie, we just outright told a different story for Ninja Quest. But for this one, the movie was canon. So we had to find a way to tell the audience what happened if you didn't see the movie. So it was like structured around their graduation. We introduced a little bit of the detonator plot stuff, kind of got a feel for the status quo, set up Zordon leaving. But then a lot of it was them describing Rocky, the movie, basically. It was just weird. Like, this is an episode where something like Supercharges, I just don't like. Like, I'll hate watch it. And this one I wouldn't watch and be like, oh, I hate this. But it's pretty bad. Like, compared to all the other premieres, even the weaker one-off premieres, this was so weird. Like, it's just so weird. Like, I suppose they didn't have much of other choice. Although I guess, coming back to Samurai, they could have done it in a structure where they dropped you in already, assuming you've seen the movie on one level, but also tried to ease you into the new series in a way. Like I said, because series have done that, where they sort of drop you in the middle, but they don't let you feel lost. They sort of ease you into it so you feel like you've opened a door to this world, you just don't have all the clues yet. And they could have done it in a way that was done, or that was well done, and then encouraged you to just pick up the movie or something if you wanted more details. But I guess that required too much skill. I don't know. It was an odd situation. I don't know about the behind-the-scenes things, about what they wanted to do, needed to do, decided to do. But I just thought it was really odd, and as a result, I think it created the structurally weakest and least interesting premiere to rewatch for me. Even though I think I dislike something like Supercharged, or even Day of the Dumpster in some ways more. In structure-wise, this just made for a really oddball one. But anyway, that's about it. Again, just like the top 5 best, This is my personal list, my personal worst list. This isn't, I don't have an algorithm running on this computer to tell you what the worst and best are. This is my personal choices. So let me know what yours are in the comments. As always, I'm sure many people will let me know why they hate my choices and pretend that I did say this was a definitive list, even though I'm saying it's not. But let me know anyway. These videos are always fun for that, one way or the other. Until next time, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. It's Dawson Ryder, signing out.